but they will be drawn to the parts you've hidden even from yourself, the places where your soul still remembers how to dance, how to dream, how to believe without needing a reason. They will not fix you. They will reflect back to you the person you forgot you still are. And make no mistake, this kind of connection is not built on charisma or convenience. It is built on mutual restoration. You will bring grounding. They will bring breath. You will offer wisdom earned through trial. They will offer presence unmarred by bitterness. You will meet in the middle, not to complete each other, but to call out what God already placed within one another. So allow the preparation to continue. Let your routines reflect the future you've been praying for. Let your spending, your eating, your praying, your resting be shaped by the values of the life you desire to build, not out of pressure, but out of reverence. God does not place wine in a cracked wineskin. He seals, strengthens, and reshapes before he pours. Above all, stay present, not in expectation, which can turn into frustration, but in attentiveness, which becomes wisdom. Divine things rarely make noise when they arrive. They show up in peace, in consistency, in the way someone chooses you without chaos, in the silence between words, in the moment you realize you're no longer surviving connection, you're receiving it. This season is not about proving you are ready for love. God already knows you are. It is about becoming the version of yourself who no longer fears it, who no longer apologizes for wanting more, who no longer edits yourself to be palatable for people who were never meant to stay. You have carried others long enough. Now heaven is preparing someone who will stand beside you, not because they need rescuing, but because they want to build. Their presence will feel like breath after drowning. Their laughter will feel like sunlight after too many winters. Their faith will not ask you to shrink. It will ask you to rise, and when they arrive, you will not have to chase. You will recognize, because your soul, no longer buried beneath fear or timelines, will finally be free to say, this is what I was made for. There are moments in life when God intervenes so quietly, so intricately, that only hindsight reveals the masterpiece he was creating all along. This, right now, is one of those moments. What's being prepared for your life is not simply a relationship. It is a divine recalibration of generations, a sacred interruption to the patterns that have kept your heart burdened and your spirit dimmed. God is using this coming union through the vessel of a younger partner, not just to bring companionship, but to break the cycle. This person, chosen for you, is not arriving to rescue or be rescued. They are being fashioned by divine hands to walk beside you, not ahead, not behind, but with you. Their soul is being taught to recognize the extraordinary in what others have overlooked. Your quiet strength, your unwavering loyalty, your earned wisdom, and the fierce way you love, even when love has not always returned to you in kind. While others may have mistaken your maturity for someone who can carry more responsibility, this younger soul will see it for what it truly is: a sanctuary, a lighthouse, a place to rest. God is not sending someone to diminish your fire. He is sending someone whose own light complements yours, not competes with it. Imagine how light enters a room. It doesn't force its way in. It simply arrives and transforms everything it touches. That is how this person will appear in your life, without grand announcement, without demand, yet with undeniable clarity. They are not being trained to fix you. They are being refined to recognize you. Even now, their pride is being gently stripped away. Their ego is being dissolved so they can arrive before you with eyes that truly see, not through a lens of age or status or expectation, but through the deep spiritual knowing that you are part of the promise they've been carrying in their heart without even fully understanding it. They are not a detour, they are destiny, unfolding in divine timing. This is the kind of connection that doesn't just change your mood, it shifts your legacy, the kind that reminds you God never forgot not what he whispered over your life long ago. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1:6. That promise is being fulfilled not in abstract theory, but in the alignment of two lives shaped by fire and softened by grace. You once believed you were the one who needed saving, that your story was marked by survival, and perhaps that was all there would be. But now, God is revealing the truth. You are the one being sent as light. Your presence, your perspective, your deep, cultivated spirit. These are the very things this younger soul has been unknowingly praying for. And they, in turn, will become a fire in your bones. They will awaken the parts of you that grew quiet while you were being strong. This isn't about turning back the clock or chasing something fleeting. It's about entering a space beyond time, where age means nothing and soul means everything. You are not being called backward. You are being invited into a realm of timelessness, where divine connection eclipses human logic. For so long, you have carried the ache of being too much or not enough. But now, God is expanding your heart to make room for a love that is vibrant, joyful, and completely loyal. This person will not shrink away from your depth. They will be drawn to it. They will not be daunted by your accomplishments. They will honor long. What many overlook, sometimes even resist, is that this kind of age-spanning union was never about novelty or surface attraction. It was never just about romance. It was always about assignment. When heaven orchestrates a bond between two souls, it is with eternity in mind. Not just comfort, not even just companionship, but divine commission. God does not pair people based on the rules of society. He pairs them based on the needs of his kingdom. And when he brings two lives together, especially those separated by years but united in calling, he is often doing something bigger than either of them can see at first glance. Something generational, something restorative. Scripture bears witness to this again and again. When Ruth, a young widow from Moab, followed her older mother-in-law Naomi back to Bethlehem, what began as loyalty became legacy. Ruth's decision, rooted in humble obedience, placed her in the lineage of King David and ultimately the Messiah. That partnership between generations didn't just provide survival, it shaped history. Throughout the Word, we see how God uses the tension between age and youth not to divide, but to strengthen. Elijah, weary and ready to give up, found renewed purpose when God instructed him to anoint Elisha, someone younger, someone ready to continue what he had begun. One brought the fire from heaven, the other carried the mantle forward. The wisdom of the elder and the zeal of the younger were never meant to compete, they were meant to complete. This is the divine blueprint now unfolding in your life. God is crafting a connection where maturity does not mean stagnation and youth does not mean naivety. One has walked through valleys long enough to know which voices to trust. The other still climbs with the confidence that mountains are meant to be moved. Where one is deeply rooted, the other is freshly reaching. Together, they form not imbalance, but divine multiplication. Culture often encourages comfort over contrast. It says, choose what looks like you, thinks like you, Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? This love is not a return to the past. It is a departure into redemption. And yes, this union will stretch your understanding of strength. You who once believed that leadership meant carrying everything alone will now be invited into shared stewardship. You who thought love always required self-denial will come to know a love that pours back into you as much as it asks of you. This is not a lessening of your role, it's the expansion of it. Your wisdom becomes not a burden, but a gift. Your experience becomes not a reason to harden, but a reason to lead gently. The younger soul being sent into your life is not a student to be instructed, nor a child to be raised. They are not coming to lean on you helplessly. They are coming to walk beside you, to grow with you, and to cover you with the same loyalty and passion you have given to others for so long. Where you bring stability, they bring movement. Where you bring depth, they bring energy. Where you bring perspective, they bring new vision. This is not a one-sided story. This is sacred alignment. And that alignment will bear fruit, not always loudly, not always quickly, but undeniably. What begins as an unusual pairing will become a testimony of what God can do when obedience overrides opinion. The age difference will fade into the background. What will remain is fruit, peace, growth, joy, and endurance. As Jesus said, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last." John 15:16. This is not a love you will need to defend forever. It will speak for itself through its consistency, its impact, and the way it silently dismantles every fear that told you something like this could never last. Because when God writes a story, He does not hand you a puzzle piece without preparing the place where it fits. This union, this sacred contrast of years and roles, is not a loophole. It's a design. And over time, it will show the world, not through noise, but through living proof that what God joins, no opinion can separate. This is not simply a season of transition. It is a sacred unveiling. A moment in which heaven begins to show you what it's been forming in secret all along. The love entering your life now will not arrive in chaos or confusion, but in calm, like a prayer answered in motion, unfolding not in fireworks, but in quiet awe. This love is not a patch for what's broken, but a reward for all you've endured. Not because you needed to be completed, but because you were finally whole enough to be celebrated. You see, the timing of this connection isn't random. It's not based on your desire for companionship or their search for inspiration. It's based on divine readiness. God waited to bring this younger soul into your life, not because you were lacking, but because you were overflowing. You've become a wellspring of wisdom, of grace, of depth. And what flows from you now is a light not easily found in this world. The kind of light that doesn't clamor for attention, but quietly calls home every wandering heart who has searched the world and come up empty. They are being drawn toward that light. Not as a lost soul seeking rescue, but as one who has finally found what their spirit has longed for. Stability that doesn't control, wisdom that doesn't condescend, strength that doesn't shout. And you, who may have feared at times that your brilliance had dimmed or your softness had faded, will begin to see yourself again through their eyes. Their presence will become a mirror, not of who you once were, but of who you still are. This is the holy balance, the meeting of the anchor and the sail. Where you bring steadiness, they bring motion. Where you bring discernment, they bring wonder. And in this divine pairing, God is writing a story that cannot be categorized by convention. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55:8. What society may call unlikely, God calls ordained. Let go of the last lingering expectations that told you love had to look a certain way, arrive at a certain age, or meet a cultural checklist. That was never the blueprint of heaven. What's being built in your life now is not for approval, but for purpose. The world sees timelines, God sees ripeness. He is silencing the voices of critics and skeptics, not just around you, but within you. Those inner whispers that once said, "You've missed your moment," or "You're too much, too late, too far removed." He is replacing them with truth. Because when God decides it is your time, nothing can delay what He has designed. This younger soul is not arriving to change you. They are being taught to honor you, to cherish what others misjudged, to celebrate what others dismissed. They will love the parts of you you once tried to hide, the lines on your face, the stillness in your voice, the courage you've earned, the beauty born not from trend, but from endurance. Gray hair is a crown of it bled, are about to see the goodness of God in the land of the living. You thought you were waiting for love, but heaven was preparing a legacy. You believed the delay meant denial, but in truth, it meant design. The younger partner arriving now is not a surprise. They are a kept promise, an echo of every silent prayer, every lonely night, every dream you once dared to imagine before life told you to settle. Their love will not be reckless, but intentional, not loud, but lasting. They come not just to be part of your life, but to multiply it. Their presence will add color where things had faded. Their voice will speak life into places you had closed off. Their touch will remind your body that it is still sacred, still worthy of joy, still capable of dancing in the light. I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. This is that restoration in human form. And the reason this love will feel different is because it is. It's not built on comparison, control, or convenience. It's not a second chance. It's the right chance. The one that was always meant to find you once both of you were ready. You anchored in assurance. Them eager to build something eternal. Every detour you took, every delay you cursed was actually a mercy, a pause that allowed both of you to arrive fully formed, fully awake, fully aligned. So as you move forward, carry this truth in your spirit. This love is not a reward for perfection. It is the fruit of perseverance. It is not proof that you finally became lovable. It is proof that you were always loved. You are not too late. You are right on time. The next chapter is not an echo of survival. It is a celebration of divine fulfillment. This younger soul is not coming to revive your past. They are coming to help build your future. A future where joy is not fleeting, where connection is not performance, where love is not a battle but a blessing. And now all that's left is to receive it. We do not walk this journey alone. Every step, every pause, every whispered hope is part of something greater, a divine tapestry that only the Creator Himself could weave. Your presence in this story is not incidental, it is essential. There is something sacred being built through you, a thread of beauty running through pain, through patience, and through praise. And you, but to complete you. Where you once had to shield your heart, you will now find safety. Where you once responded with caution, you will now respond with peace. This isn't naivety, it's healing, because discernment doesn't need armor when peace is the new default. Old memories may rise, regrets may surface. Those moments you gave love and received silence, gave effort and were met with absence. But do not fear this resurfacing. Healing doesn't always arrive in forgetfulness. Sometimes it arrives in revisitation, not to reopen the wound, but to close it properly. As it is written, He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. Restoration is not about pretending the pain never happened. It's about finally understanding why it no longer defines you. This relationship will also invite you to rethink joy. There may be moments where it comes too easily and you hesitate. Is this real? Will it last? That hesitation is not doubt. It's the friction of new freedom rubbing up against old caution. You are learning, day by day, grace by grace, that joy doesn't have to be earned through suffering. That peace doesn't have because they complete you, but because they call forward the wholeness already within you. Not because you were lacking, but because you were ready. And so, with quiet certainty, you will take your place in this new chapter, not as a survivor of love, but as a vessel of it. And your life will sing. And now, as this divine story reaches its quiet crescendo, there is one more truth to receive, one that has often been buried beneath disappointment and delay. You were never waiting for love alone. You were being positioned to embody it. This unfolding isn't simply about who is coming into your life, but about who you are becoming in response to divine timing. It's not just the arrival of a younger soul that matters. It's the sacred invitation to rediscover your own capacity for joy without fear, for love without performance, and for presence without apology. God is not only gifting you a companion, He is entrusting you with a sacred echo of His own heart. This connection is a reflection of what heaven has always intended relationships to be. Not transactional, not dictated by age or appearance, but transformational. A safe place where two people, refined by different fires, come together not to fix each other, but to magnify what is already whole. And as you welcome this newness, you may feel the contours of your identity shifting, not into someone unfamiliar, but into the most honest version of yourself. You will begin to take up space with grace instead of guilt. You will begin to speak from your soul rather than from survival. And you will stop waiting for permission to feel fully alive, because the spirit within you will remind you, you are already chosen. This journey is not a detour from your calling, it is your calling. To live as someone who no longer measures love by timelines, who no longer hides behind roles, and who no longer asks if they're worthy of what heaven is freely giving. For this, beloved, is a new kind of testimony. Not one written in dramatic turning points, but in steady, sacred consistency. In laughter that lingers, in eye contact that speaks, in the quiet courage to begin again without bitterness. You are stepping into a chapter that will not require you to explain, justify, or convince. It will simply require you to receive. Now, beloved, as you've listened and allowed these words to settle in your spirit, let us pause together in stillness. Let us enter into a time of prayer, not a performance, but a conversation with the one who has authored your every step. If this message has stirred something deep within you, come into agreement now and allow your heart to open fully to the Lord's whisper. Heavenly Father, we come before you with open hearts and surrendered spirits, acknowledging your sovereignty, your goodness, and the mysterious beauty of your timing. You are the author of connection, the keeper of time, and the defender of our hearts.